hope I'm in the shot. Hi everybody, welcome back to ONYX Pages. I'm Jerry and this is a very quick and dirty haul. Let's get into some of the books that I've purchased recently. Hey everybody, so first of all, happy Pride. I'm not sure how you're feeling about Pride Month. It's Pride Month in Canada. It's also a National Indigenous Month. So I know for me, I'm feeling very rageful. Queer folks, Black queer folks around the world are at risk of being killed and of random acts of violence, and I'm feeling very emotional about that this Pride. I'm not sure why, but I'm definitely feeling that way. Tommy and I just went to a boat cruise. It was absolutely wonderful. And yesterday we were at a wedding. Last week we were on another boat. I was on another boat cruise. And I feel like something's hitting differently in 2023. I feel like we have to party and dance and enjoy each other and be gentle with each other and appreciate each other's beauty and spirit and power and magic more than ever before. So that is how I'm feeling this Pride. We just got home and I was like, I've got a lot to clean and a lot to do, a lot to prepare for tomorrow for work, but I also have this very big stack of books that I want to tell you about. And on top of that, I was talking to somebody on the boat. We were talking about Octavia E. Butler's Kindred and the adaptation, and we were talking about how important it is. They were telling me how important it is to support these adaptations, because without them, all we get are the whitewashed Marvel movies. And, you know, and I got invigorated, and I guess just being surrounded by so many beautiful Black folks and people of color, queer folks on a boat, all wearing white, I'm just inspired. So here we go. Here's the haul. The first book I want to tell you about is New Suns 2. And this is, I'll just show you so you can see that. So you'll recall that I have read, and I think I reviewed, I had an interview with Nisi Shawl, who was the editor, or one of the editors of New Suns, the editor of New Suns 1. And this is New Suns 2, original speculative fiction by people of color, foreword by Walter Mosley, cool, and including stories by Kate Tempest Bradford, Darcy Little Badger, Guy Vo, John Chu, and many others. So the back reads, New Suns 2 brings you fresh visions of the strange, the unexpected, the shocking, breakthrough stories, stories shining with emerging truths, stories that pierce stale preconceptions with their beauty and bravery. Like the first New Suns anthology, which was the winner of the World Fantasy Locus Ignite and British Fantasy Awards, this book liberates writers of many races to tell us tales no one has ever told. Many things come in twos, dualities, binaries, halves, and alternatives. Twos are found throughout New Suns 2 in 18 science fiction, fantasy, and horror stories, revealing daring futures, hidden pasts, and present-day worlds filled with unmapped wonders. And I recognize names such as Tananarive Due, Alex Jennings, Tlotlo Samase, Malka Older. Yeah, those are some of the, and Christopher Caldwell. So those are some of the names I recognize. So that's New Suns 2. The next book is The Last Dreamwalker by Rita Woods. So I believe Rita Woods wrote Remembrance, I want to say, which I have not yet read. Yes, she wrote Remembrance. I'm just looking on my shelf. In the wake of her mother's passing, Layla Hurley unexpectedly reconnects with her mother's sisters, women she hasn't been allowed to speak to or of in years. Her aunts revealed to Layla that a Gullah Geechee island off the shore of South Carolina now belongs to her. As Layla digs deeper into her mother's past and the mysterious island's history, she discovers that the terrifying nightmares that had plagued her throughout her life and tainted her relationship with her mother and all of her family are actually a power passed down through generations of Gullah ancestors. She is a dreamwalker, able to inhabit the dreams of others and to manipulate them. As Layla uncovers increasingly grave secrets about her family's past, she finds herself thrust into the center of a potentially deadly, decades-old feud fought in the dark corridors of dreams. The Last Dreamwalker is a gripping, contemporary speculative story of family and legacy and illuminates the ways trauma, secrets, and magic can take shape across generations. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Spooky, gothic a little bit. Just beautiful. The next is The World We Became by N.K. Jemisin. And this is the sequel to The City We Became, which I haven't read. I have it. All is not well in the city that never sleeps, even though the avatars of New York City have temporarily managed to stop the woman in white from invading and destroying the entire universe in the process. The mysterious capital E enemy has more subtle powers at her disposal. A new candidate for mayor wielding the populist rhetoric of gentrification, xenophobia, and law and order may have what it takes to change the very nature of New York City itself. In order to defeat him and the enemy who holds his purse strings, the avatars will have to join together with their other great cities or risk the entire universe collapsing. So, N.K. Jemisin, master world builder. So this is the sequel of The City We Became. And then when I was at Another Story bookstore, which is where I do my shopping, I saw this in the Black Fantastic, and the person suggested this to me because they said that it has amazing photography and imagery of Black speculative worlds. So it assembles art and imagery from across the African diaspora, embracing the mythic and the speculative. It reconfigures elements of fable, folklore, science fiction, spiritual traditions, ceremonial pageantry, and the legacies of Afrofuturism. So this is by Ikao Eshun and forward by Ralph Rugoff, Michelle D. Commander, and Camila Martin. So that is in the Black Fantastic. And there are just really cool images. Let's see. I think I should hold it up like that. So just to give you a sense of glossy pages, some prose, some illustrations, right? So there's that. Very lovely sort of coffee table book situation. This is Let the Dead In by Saida Agostini. Tommy's gonna come home soon, so you're gonna hear the door. So it is Saida's first full-length poetry collection. It charts a magical journey through time and space in celebration of Black bodies and Black lives. Audacious and sensual, grieving and joyful, these poems draw on family lore, mythology, history, and contemporary events to chart one woman's road to freedom. A journey across Guyana, London, and the United States, Let the Dead In is a meditation on Black womanhood, queerness, and the legacy of colonization, and above all, pleasure. As poet Terry Ellen Cross Davids writes, Agostini is a poet in full command of a language so lyrically luscious, each poem feels like a full meal. This delicious, subversive, celebratory collection is an astonishingly assured debut, fat with love and light. So that's Let the Dead In. I hope you can see that. Okay, this one is called Lone Woman by Victor LaValle, and I haven't read any Victor. I've only read one Victor LaValle. It's a graphic novel, and it is like a retelling of Frankenstein, which was very good. So this is Victor LaValle. Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because when the trunk opens, people around her start to disappear. The year is 1915 and Adelaide is in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents, forcing her to flee California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader. Dragging the trunk with her at every stop, she will become one of the lone women taking advantage of the government's offer of free land for those who can tame it, except that Adelaide isn't alone, and the secret she's tried so desperately to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive the harsh territory. Crafted by a modern master of magical suspense, Lone Women blends shimmering prose and unforgettable cast of adventurers who find horror and sisterhood in a brutal landscape and a portrait of early 20th century America like you've never seen. And at its heart is the gripping story of a woman desperate to bury her past or redeem it. So that's Lone Woman by Victor Laval. Now this is a beautiful cover. Just look at the shimmer and, you know, the turquoise and the sort of mustard goldenrod yellow. So this is Darkwater, W.E.B. Du Bois. So this is a collection of poetry, social essays, science fiction, and Afrofuturist storytelling. And as you may know, W.E.B. Du Bois predated Butler, Du, Ajay Brenya, Shaw, and Jemison. And there are just a number of stories by W.E.B. Du Bois. And I haven't read, Darkwater was published in 1920. As you know, I really enjoy reading older science fiction. And this is definitely older science fiction. I've read only one of W.E. Du Bois' Afrofuturist stories, and that was called The Comet. You can actually buy The Comet as an ebook off of like wherever you buy your ebooks. I don't know if The Comet, The Comet is actually in here as well. And yeah, there's some illustrations as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to this collection and learning more about W.E. Du Bois' writing. Four more. This is The Wishing Pool and Other Stories by Tananarive Due. Tananarive Due, to name, should really go without any need for explanation. LeVar Burton has blurbed this, Joe Hill, Octavia E. Butler blurbed, and Stephen King. These are comments, obviously, on past Tananarive Book Due titles. So this is her second collection of stories. So the first collection of stories is called Ghost Summer, or Ghost Stories. It's back there somewhere. It was a lovely. If you want to read Tananarive Due and you want to read short stories that take place in the summer that are kind of creepy, Ghost Summer Stories is really great. So from the mysterious magical town of Gracetown to the aftermath of a pandemic to the reaches of the far future, Due's stories all share a sense of dread and fear balanced with heart and hope. In some of these stories, the monster is racism itself. Others address the monster within, each set against the supernatural or the surreal. All are written with Due's trademark attention to detail and deeply drawn characters. In addition to previously published work, this collection contains brand new stories including Rumpus Room, a supernatural horror novelette set in Florida about a woman's struggle against both outer and inner demons. Also, this was blurbed by Nalo Hopkinson. And just because I can, this beautiful bracelet was made by Nalo Hopkinson for me because I was on her Patreon. And so, yeah, that's made by Nalo for me. This is We Are a Haunting. My battery's going to die, so we'll see. This is from a novel by Tyreek White. In 1980s, Brooklyn, Key is enchanted with her world, glowing with her dreams, a charming and tender doula serving the black women of her East New York neighborhood. She lives like her mother among the departed and learns to speak to and from them, for them. Her untimely death leaves behind her mother, Audrey, who is on the verge of losing the public housing apartment they once shared. Collie, Key's grieving son, soon learns that he too has inherited the sacred gift and begins to slip into liminal space between living and the dead on his journey to self-realization. In the present, an expulsion from school forces Collie across town, where feeling increasingly detached and disenchanted with the condition of his community, he begins to realize that he must ultimately be accountable to the place he is from. After college, having forged an understanding of friendship, kinship, community, and how to foster love in places where it seems impossible, Collie returns to East New York to work toward addressing structural neglect and the crumbling blocks of New York City public housing he was born to. A supernatural family saga and a lyrical and potent account of displaced lives, We Are a Haunting depicts the palpable breathing essence of the neglected corridors of a pulsing city with pathos and poise. Now, so that's by Tyreek White. So there are two other books I want to speak to, and I know my battery's not going to cooperate, but I'm going to do as much as I can, and then I'll just switch her out. So I want to thank, so this was sent to me by MV Media. So this is Milton Davis's publishing house. And this is Languages of Water, edited by Eugen Bacon, who is absolutely amazing. I've interviewed her. You can find out more about her, but I love her and her writing. Languages of Water is a rare but intimate fusion of East, West, and Africa, a stunning artifact of writerly immersion and cultural exchange. This child of digital collaboration brings together writers, illustrators, and translators of poetry, fiction, and essays, and refuses to be contained. In a playful interrogation of French literary theorist, critic, and philosopher Roland Barthes, Languages of Water opens with the homing story When the Water Stops. Cross-cultural creators interpret the story in different forms of itself, offering subversive fiction, poetry, essays, monochrome graphics, sudden fiction, and translations of the homing story in English, Swahili, French, Cantonese, Malay, Vietnamese, and Bengali. A bold and exceptional offering edited by World Fantasy Award finalist and award-winning author Eugen Bacon, an otherwise fellowship honoree for doing exciting work in gender and speculative fiction, featuring works by acclaimed and award-winning authors, essayists, translators, scholars, and artists. So that is Languages of Water, edited by Eugen Bacon. And then finally, Battery, thank you so much for being good to me right now. The last one that I'm going to open is one that I have been waiting for an extremely long time. This is none other than The Blue Beautiful World by Dr. Karen Lord. Karen Lord is an exceptional writer. And I just love everything that Karen Lord writes. I am saving the Galaxy game, but I think I've read everything else. And this is a novel. I got an ARC from the publisher Del Rey. And so I'm very grateful. I believe that it comes out actually this month, June 2023. So the world is changing and humanity must change with it. Rising seas and soaring temperatures have radically transformed the face of the earth. Meanwhile, Earth is being observed from afar by other civilizations, and now they're ready to make contact. Vying to prepare humanity for first contact are a group of dreamers and change makers, including Peter Hendricks, the genius inventor behind the most advanced VR tech, Carissa, a beloved celebrity icon with a passion for humanitarian work, and Kanoa, a member of a council of young people from across the globe, drafted to reimagine the relationship between humankind and alien societies. Oh my God. And they may have an unexpected secret weapon, Owen, a pop megastar whose ability to connect with his adoring fans is more than charisma. He has hidden talent that may be the key to uniting Earth. He has a hidden talent that might be the key to uniting Earth as it looks toward the stars. But Owen's abilities are so unique that no one can control him, and so seductive that he cannot help but use them. Can he transcend his human limitations and find the freedom he has always dreamed of, or is he doomed to become the dictator of his nightmares? The Blue Beautiful World by Karen Lord. Okay, as I said, thank you, Battery, for sticking with us. Really glad to have this video for you. Let me know in the description which book or books you are interested in, what you've read already. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember always to read with purpose. And for those of you who are joyfully and ragefully enjoying Pride, happy Pride. I'll see you soon.